Sean, updates on Ernest, Brian, and Darrell, and anybody else who came out of that game injured?
Yep, I'll give you the full updates. So starting off, Greg Gaines got his fourth metatarsal in his hand, his left hand. He's having surgery today. I do expect him to be able to cast that up and come back. I mean, he came back in the game and played like a stud, did a great job. It's obviously a little bit something of an irritant that'll kind of inhibit, full functionality, but do expect him to be able to play this week. Ernest Jones had a high ankle sprain. It was his left ankle. Unfortunately, he's going to require surgery to get that thing fixed. That's a big loss for us. Whether he returns this season or not is to be determined, but we will put him on IR. Darrell Henderson got his MCL in his right knee. He'll also be a IR guy. Could be anywhere between 3 and 5 weeks with him. Then Ben Skowronek got his shoulder, should be able to brace that thing up and go, but we might be smart with him on Wednesday. And then everybody else was kind of the typical bumps and bruises, but with Ernest and Darrell, those are big losses for us. Those guys have done a great job. It's really unfortunate because Ernest was really just starting to hit his stride. You guys know how highly I think of him and what a star I think he's going to be in the future. And hopefully he'll get a chance to maybe come back this year. But if not, I think he did a lot of great things that we can build on. And then, poor Darrell can't catch a break. He has a great run. And it was one of those deals. It was kind of a freak way that he went down on a good run. And, we'll miss him as well.
Does that increase the urgency if there is such a thing for a guy coming off of an Achilles injury like Cam to get him going and get him back in the lineup?
I don't think it changes anything because you still want to be really smart with him, Lindsay, but there is a possibility that he plays this week. He looked really good last week in practice, did a nice job. Want to make sure that we're smart checking all the boxes, but I mean, this guy is an impressive guy. He sure looked like he was capable of potentially playing last week, but just with the minimal opportunities we've had to practice and how you want to be smart about going about that process and procedure. But those are independent of one another, but there is a chance that Cam plays this week.
And then just last one for me on your COVID situation. Is Joe Noteboom any closer to coming off that?
He's back. Yeah, his 10-day window expired on Monday. That's why it was kind of crazy, because 12:01 on Monday morning, he was able to go, but for semantics, he couldn't play on Sunday. But no, it's great to have him back. And then Whitworth is still in on COVID IR. He's feeling good, but he has not tested out or anything like that quite yet.
Got it. Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Kyle.
Hey there, Sean. Boy, that's incredible about Cam. Let me ask you this: coming off an unexpected short week and playing an early game on the East Coast, and now the NFL is switching up your schedule. You're going to play another 10 a.m. game on the East Coast in Baltimore. Can you tell us your reaction to that, if that is a concern to you?
No, I like it. But that was we would be in favor of that. I think it's better. We've learned to kind of travel on those short trips, or not those short trips, but those early window trips on East Coast time zones or Central time zones. Our guys handle it well. I like it better that way, where we get up, we go play. Our guys have a good look in their eye in the mornings. They've handled those windows really well this year, and it's kind of been a consistent theme for us, the last handful of years. So that was actually something that we were excited about, being able to get up, go. We'll travel out there and it'll be very similar. And I don't know what the hell to do with myself having a normal week to prepare now. The last 3 weeks have been such a whirlwind, being able to look at actually having 3 legitimate days of preparation feels like we'll have 3 weeks. So, that's a good thing, but I was actually, I was encouraged by that, Kyle.
Some teams struggle with that, and yet yours don't. Your record is 8-2 over the last several years on those early East Coast games. What's your secret sauce?
I think it's the guys' ability to handle it. I think we've been fairly successful just in general, whatever kind of parameters you want to put around it. But I think that's a credit to our players, their ability to be able to be mature enough to handle the way we travel, the way we get up and go. We were kind of forced into that last year just based on the nature of the COVID protocols, Kyle, and I think it worked out well. It gives, usually like my first couple years here, we would leave on a Friday, for a Sunday 10 a.m. kickoff in our head if we were traveling a couple time zones. But what we learned last year is, that additional night of sleep in their own bed, trying to keep as much of a normal rhythm and routine for the players was what we felt like was best, especially kind of learning more about your circadian rhythm and all those things. But I think the biggest thing is our guys get up, they're ready to go. Certainly there's a lot of credit, with Joey Blake, Reggie Scott, all the performance staff that's really instrumental in getting our guys kind of peaking at the right time. But ultimately, it's the players' ability to get up, go execute, and play a good game to be able to get the win.
All right, Sean, thanks a lot. Happy New Year.
Thanks. You too, Kyle.
Jordan.
Hey, Sean, just a quick clarification on Darrell. Sorry, the screen's jumping around. You see my
You're right.
balling. On Darrell, you said that was an MCL sprain.
Yes.
Okay,
MCL
thanks.
sprain. And
Just
so
wanna make sure.
we'll put him on IR as well, and could be anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks for his return.
Okay, thanks. And another facet of your run game, now that there's been a month of sort of momentum with sort of this, I don't want to say completely redone, but retooled, revamped sort of blocking system that you guys installed. What were a couple of the catalysts for that? And I'm wondering if you can share any insight on what it was like to rebuild in that way and sort of install that around what Sony Michel does so well.
Yeah, I think it wasn't too much different. It was really, you start seeing us use a couple different personnel groupings, but yesterday we were almost exclusively in 11 as a result of some different things. I think the multiplicity personnel wise, and then really just being committed to staying on track in the run game. You look at Sony over the last 4 weeks, he's, if you take weeks 13 through 16, he's leading the league in rushing. He's averaging over 100 a game. He's getting a little over 22 carries a game, and he's done a great job. I think he gets stronger as the game goes on. Really been pleased with him. And if you can add Cam Akers to the mix and he's anywhere close to what we know he's capable of being, that's really exciting. It's unfortunate to lose Darrell again, but it's more been a reflection of just looking at, okay, what did we see over those 3 games that we weren't getting the results that we wanted to? How can we, pace the game on our terms? It wasn't really a philosophical shift. I think it was more of getting back to our foundational roots and not losing sight of that. And we've been able to do that. And I think yesterday being able to control the game on our terms, even though we did turn it over 3 times, was a huge credit, to the team. And we've talked about really playing complementary football, but has been too much different. I think there's just been more of a commitment, to try to be a little bit more balanced.
And that sort of physicality too seems like a lot of the guys are saying how much they want to move opponents off the spot, off the line, because of what Sony's doing either behind or next to them. Was that also a factor in really what you guys are doing now in terms of, I know the injury is also a huge factor, but in terms of some of that stuff that you mentioned at the beginning of the season, you wanting to do with Cam in the first place? Yeah,
I don't think there's a question, Jordan. I think there's certain players that, they bring a toughness to your unit. Sony's done that. You look at that. That was the same thing that I felt like Robert Woods brought to our unit, or even a Johnny Munt, getting Rob Havenstein back. Thought we were tougher up front, So I think Sony's just a tough physical downhill runner, the way he finishes and levels off. And I think that excites those guys up front. Anytime that you're able to add more guys to the blocking surface, or you bring a 6 offensive lineman in, there's a mentality and a mindset that goes behind some of those things that I think guys get excited about. And ultimately they're the ones that make it come to life. But I think kind of just Sony's toughness has helped kind of solidify that as an added element to what we can bring and what we can present offensively. And that's, it's always about the players. And certainly he's done a great job with that.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Kevin.
Hey, Sean. Sticking with Sony Michel, he had one 16-yard run yesterday where I counted 3 waves of tacklers he fought off, gained about 12 yards after carry by my unofficial stat keeping. What makes him able to do that kind of thing? It's pretty characteristic of him.
Yeah, I think he's got great contact balance. He's really sturdy. I mean, he's just he's a physical, strong. He's got great contact balance. He's got all those things that are built to, he's built like a running back should be, when you look at it. And he's just really tough. He's got great ball security too throughout those, because that's the thing. You want to make sure that, do I continue to maintain great ball security as I'm in the midst of breaking tackles? And he had a couple runs like that against Seattle as well. Really, over the last month, he's done a great job of having it come to life. But I think it's the contact balance, the strength, and then he does have some subtleties and nuances to his game where he's able to set guys in traffic that when you really watch it closely, you can appreciate the natural run instincts and ability to work edges and level off even in traffic type situations.
And then on Cam Akers, can you talk about what went into the decision to activate him with 3 weeks out given the 3 weeks of roster time?
Yeah, I think it really it more goes to the credit of him and helping him be able to have some incentives, or really it's Les would be better equipped to answer it, but it's more of a situation that this guy's done such a great job. He's earned the right to be able to get on this roster, and it looks like there's a possibility of him contributing as soon as this week, actually on the field. I wouldn't appropriately articulate it if I answered it, but it is some sort of semantics on accrued seasons and things of that nature.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Gary?
Hey, Sean, upon review of the game, the tape and whatnot, any change, or what's your evaluation of how Stafford played?
Yeah, I think I think everybody's going to always point to some of those turnovers, but what I like the most, Gary, is when we had to have those drives and some of those key third downs, he didn't flinch based on what had occurred prior to. I think when you look at those on the first one that we had, just talking about the turnovers, it felt very similar to what I thought had occurred. This guy's a great competitor. He's unflappable. Sometimes these are occupational hazards. We want to avoid those when we can, but not at the extent of not continuing to compete. And I thought that's what he did. On the first one, it was kind of a weird deal where he did a great job escaping out of a sack. He gets flushed and he's kind of thinking about maybe layering it over Anthony Barr's head. Just kind of came out funny. And that's a decision where you say, hey, you're such a great competitor. Let's balance being a great competitor. And then sometimes, the best thing is let's live to fight another play, and let's bring Hecker on the grass and let him punt it. So we learned from that one. On the second one, if he doesn't get hit, we got to do a much better job in protection. He's letting that thing launch, and you look at the way Cam is run, or you look at the way that Van runs down the field. I believe that that's going to be a chance for us to be able to catch that thing in stride the way that he's able to, throw that ball when he can hitch into it. So that's one of those deals where we got to do a better job protecting him there. And then on the third one, I really put him in a spot. We're running kind of a free release protection. They've got a blitz look. We've got kind of a concept that they did a good job covering Higbee. We maybe could have, spit it out to Cooper, but really it was more of a really bad spot that I put him in. And so all of them have different narratives, but ultimately what I think about is the response coming back. I know he'd want to have that throw back to Odell on 3rd down and 2, but what he did after that says as much about Matthew Stafford. There's a lot of guys that would have wilted in those types of situations. This guy didn't flinch, kept competing. I think his teammates picked him up a little bit, and then he made the plays when he had to have them. The one to Higbee in the high red, the one to Kupp for the 37-yard 3rd down conversion, and then the 3rd down, touchdown to Odell. Those are 3 plays that are big-time plays that I was really pleased that he made, that we had to have to be able to win the game.
And then when you guys acquired Sony, it seemed like, the Patriots didn't, exercise their option on him. It seemed like he might be a guy that would be a 1-year rental for you guys in not so many words. But given how he's performed, is he a guy that you would like to retain for more years?
Yeah, I think, he's done a great job, Gary. I think the one thing that I would say, it's that old cliche, we just want to be in the moment, and he is doing a great job. As far as those things go, to say that you wouldn't want to be able to continue to work with him, yeah, of course. But there's always a lot of layers to those types of dialogues and discussions. And, what I think he's done a great job of is really just helping solidify a 4-game stretch that has been paramount for our football team. And he's been at the forefront of that as much as anybody. And really love the guy. I mean, you talk about a guy that just comes into work. He's a pro's pro. He's picked things up quickly. He's got such a steady, neutral demeanor throughout the course of games. Really love working with Sony. And of course, you'd love to be able to have that as an option, but he's doing a great job. I'm really pleased with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike?
Thanks, Artis. Hope you're feeling well. Sean, wanted to ask you this after the win yesterday, but with your guys' victory and the Cardinals' loss on Saturday, you now control your own destiny. Maybe not as far as, the overall seed in a bye, but maybe hosting 2 games and winning the NFC West. How much of a motivating factor is that for you? And how much do you talk about that with the team here these last 2 games?
Yeah, we do talk about the things that we can control. And, we're aware of those circumstances and the situations, but in order for us to be able to have any of those things come to life and to fruition, we've got to handle our business. So He said, do the guys know that if the Cowboys beat the Cardinals and we go handle our business against the Ravens, that we win the division? Yeah, those will be things that you talk about. But the main thing for us is we've earned the right to not have to watch or count on anybody else. And that's a real credit to our players. The way they've done that is by just focusing on the things that they can control, being where their feet are planted, handling the ebbs and flows and a lot of the different adversities that have come up like champions do. And I love this group, love working with them. There has been a lot of chapters that have been really interesting in this book that these guys are writing right now. But, for us, we want to try to do a great job of having a great week of preparation. There's one thing that about a Coach Harbaugh-led Ravens team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be ready to go. They're fighting, for their playoff lives. So we better be ready to go. And we got to have a great week to go be able to, try to accomplish our goal of getting our 12th win. What happens as a result, if we are able to do that, is a little bit out of our control. But those are good things that our guys have done the last month of December to give themselves an opportunity to really not have to look anywhere else other than just controlling what we can control.
Maria?
Sean, to kind of stick with that same mindset, the team has responded so well in the face of adversity over the last few weeks. How do you keep that up now with maybe a normal week coming up? How do you keep that mental toughness in line?
Something will come up, Maria. There'll be something that comes up. So no, you're right. It's I think you continue to use the previous experiences as ways of building armor and really drawing on confidence, but also know that the preparation does matter, because I think couldn't be more proud of this group. But I do think there's some things in terms of the detail, the overall operation in all three phases that we can be sharper on. And I think we need to be sharper on. We found a way to win these games, but just the fundamentals, the techniques, the overall details, snap in and snap out, consistently stringing things together. There's definitely always areas of improvement. And those are things that we have to be able to do if we want to continue to improve as the regular season winds down.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll wrap up with Jordan and then Kevin.
Just really quick, Sean, I may have missed it if sound cut out or something, but did you have an update on Brian Allen? He left the game and didn't come back in.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. I think he just tweaked his knee a little bit, but everything checked out okay on him. And so I think he's going to be okay.
And then Odell came back in, obviously, and scored the touchdown, but at one point limped off the field. Anything there that you guys are monitoring?
Yeah, I think he's okay. He's a tough guy. He came and bounced back, and he and Peterson had a good collision on that play.
It looked like he hit his knee with
He did. It scared me. I came out there and he wasn't saying anything, and I think more than anything, you're kind of just processing it. But he got up. He looked pretty healthy on the gritty celebration.
Thanks, Sean.